Okay, so what happened about 25 years ago was that a plan to set in motion a movement towards a one world government was put into action. It had probably been uh, set moving before that, but a big step in terms of the psychological, um, the attempt to psychologically condition people in regard to it was made. And obviously, that was at the turn of the century. Now, what's made me make this video is nowadays, okay, when I grew up, things were pretty cut and dried. If you did such and such, such and such would happen. Okay? Legal things were very cut and dried. They're very simple, straightforward. Okay? If you did this, the fine was this. If you did this, the penalty was this. Okay? And this creeping disgustingness that has emerged in society now is characterized by the idea, it's this softly infantilizing fake approach. Okay? So, and I would say that I would argue that this goes along with feminism. All right? So, in a masculine dominated society, the way things should be, you have rules which are set. You know where you stand. If you contravene them, you know what's happening. In this fake, flowery fantasy world, okay, that has emerged, you have a situation where, oh, such and such happens, and you may be punished with this fine. You may have this. Now, you can't write laws with the word may. It either is or it isn't. It's true that in a court, a judge can make one decision or another, but the point is, you don't write laws in vague terms, okay? And then you've also got these. It's crept into the rest of um, society, whereby you have this lying going on. In the past, if you had a choice over something, you were told you had that choice, or you were told you don't have that choice. Now, there's this whole thing like, yay, we're all free, everyone's got this liberty. Yeah? But the truth is, it's not there. It's all a big lie. It's a lie to encourage weak, childish people into this idea of, yay! It's just nonsense, okay? So, you'll have a situation whereby, we want you to be in charge. We want you to have the choice. And you're like, okay, that's great. I'll make the choice. And then it's like, you can't make that choice. We want you to feel empowered. It's like, no, I don't feel empowered because I don't have that choice you said I could have. Oh, but we want you to feel that you've got the choice. And then eventually you realize that it's all just a big lie. You don't have this power or choice that you thought you had. We want you to have access. Well, I'd like to have access, please. And they won't say you can't have it. They'll just say, we want you to have access. Okay, fine, I'd like access to this, please. And you can't get it. And so they'll just keep on saying, yeah, you're empowered, blah, blah, blah. And you actually don't have the power that you are told that you had. But they won't say it to you. In the past, like when I grew up, if you didn't have a choice or power in a situation, you were told that's not going to happen. And that was that. You could challenge it or something, that's fine. But nowadays, the problem is that there's so much lying in the culture that people are not telling people, no, that's not the way it's going to be. No, that's not happening. The rules are this. They're told, yeah, you can have anything you want. And then you're like, oh, okay, I'd have one of those. It's like, instead of telling you, no, you can't have it, they'll just keep repeating, you can have anything you want. And eventually you stand there saying, I can't have that, can I? And then they'll just keep going, you can have anything you want. And you realise it's just a big show of nonsense. And you end up just walking away from it. Whereas in the past, you were told, no, we can't do that. And you'd be like, okay, you either tried to challenge it or you accepted it. So now there's so much lying going on that it's just lie after lie after lie after lie after lie, and the whole of society is this big fake landscape of lying, and it's hidden, or not very well, behind this kind of liberalism idea. Everyone can have everything. Everyone's free to do this and that, and it's all just a big circus. The world is exactly as it's always been, the nuts and bolts of it, but it's painted in fluffy, hysterical nonsense. That's all that's happened. And that was so as to mask this agenda being applied to the world. This agenda for a one world government, okay? And it's damaging. And you can see it every day. It's like little things, like when you go onto websites and it says, do you choose A or B? In the past, it would be like, do you accept the terms or do you not accept the terms? And now it's just like agree or agree. Agree or agree later. You know? It's like, so basically there is no choice. And that was never the case when I grew up. You were genuinely given choices. If there was no choice, you were told this, that's how it is. But this fake lying kind of culture has grown up around this, and it's tied in very strongly with feminism. The idea that everyone's got to be empowered, blah, 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 and it's just nonsense. It's all just a big show, because the practicalities of life are still as they have always been, but people are just being routinely lied to. And I will say that generally speaking, I think women are more susceptible to this. They like things to be done for them, and they trust what's put in front of them. And if they're told that's not going to happen, yes, I would say there's a minority of women who are very strong-willed and will stand up for things, and are good for them, really. But it's much more common among men. And indeed, there are a minority of men who won't bother to stand up for things. But generally speaking, men are very much more... it's expected of them to stand up against things. It's something that is natural for them, because there's a responsibility that comes with being a man to stand up for things. Now, I will say that women who do have a strong will in that regard will often cajole and push men into fixing these problems, which is good. I like that. That's if men aren't doing their job properly. But these things are orchestrated and put into place largely to capture the general female psyche, which is one of safety and security and lack of harm, etc., etc. So, whilst it's a good idea to be sensible and logical about things and not do things in a sort of in an irresponsible way, it is this I don't know how to put this. The whole ethos of making society into this secure, safe, fluffy thing where nothing can ever go wrong is being used as a vehicle for control. So women love it. Women are like, generally, they're like, not unilaterally, but generally, they're like, oh, well, isn't that wonderful? Oh, we'll all be safe now and nothing will go wrong. Whereas all the freedoms that you had are tied up with that package of safety and security, and they're all done away with in return for that safety and security. And then, the same people who are saying, oh, isn't this wonderful, will be thinking, oh, where did our rights go? And it's all tied up with this lying, okay? This is the difference between a masculine environment and a feminine environment. A masculine environment revolves around the truth. It revolves around people stating how their point, their standpoint, and say, this is it. This is how it's going to be. This is how it is, and I stand by it. In this feminized nonsense, you've got people going, oh, well, and they might say, this is how it's going, but behind it, it's all lies. In the past, you would have a man and you'd take him at his word, because his word is important. As a man, your word is important. In this feminized environment, You can even have guys who are front men who say yes, blah 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 blah, blah, and they'll act as if they have their word, but then they'll just completely renege on it. And because we're in this feminized society, women will go, oh, well, no, he didn't mean that, he meant this. And they always try and make excuses. Whereas a man will say, no, 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 no. No, he said this, he stands by it. That's how it works in a masculine run society, which is how it should be. Because then you can trust it. Even women will observe that and say, okay, well, things are running properly. So men and women are being really badly let down by this nonsensical lying experiment that's being floated. And it's run its course. It's run its course because the rot that it enables to occur is ridiculous and damaging, and everyone can see it. So it's just yet another attempt by the same crowd that it's always been to try to get things that they want through untoward means. Now, even in a masculine-run proper society, yes, you have problems. You have problems, but they are dealt with in a very ultimate way. They are usually figured out and solved, and it's done. The result is a closed situation that's finished and done. In this feminized nonsense, you've got things that just go on and on and on and on and on and on and on, and nothing ever gets fixed because everyone's making excuses all the time for everyone. Okay, that's the female general psyche. Okay, yes, there are some women who aren't like that. Great. But in the masculine world, if you make a mistake, it's on you. In the feminine world, if you make a mistake, oh, well, never mind, and it's just nothing's firm, nothing's hard, nothing's solid. There's no wall that you come up against where you say, no, that's not going to happen. So this lying kind of world goes along with this feminism, okay, which is harmful to men and women. I can see it plain as day. I think most people can see it. But again, along with this, the media control that's gone along with this is trying to kid everyone all day, every day, that it's not happening. It's pretending that we live in some fantasy world where everything's wonderful and everything's it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. I do not watch television. If I happen to glance at it, it's always the same garbage circus. It's just a big circus for people to watch if they're stupid. I have nothing to do with it, ever. I walk out of the room if it's on. I will ask people, please, can you turn that nonsense off if I'm in the room with them? I won't watch it. Because it's pure evil propaganda to try and shut people up and make them stupid and make them believe a fantasy is happening, which isn't happening. So yeah, I started off this video basically saying, you know, there's the idea that you can get what you want. You have all these rights, and you don't. You have no greater rights than you ever had. What you have is less opportunity to get the outcome you wanted because of all this obfuscative nonsense. Because no one will ever tell you no. No one will ever say nope. Because that's a masculine trait. To say nope, the buck stops here. It's not going to happen. In the feminine world, women don't like to do that because it alienates people. Women generally like stronger social bonds. They like to make excuses for people and say, oh, well, you know, blah, 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 blah. Men don't do that. Men just say, no, 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 no. That's not happening. So this is why, at the moment, we've got the situation we've got. So me speaking about this, you know, the people who are orchestrating it would say, oh, he's against women. Or so. No, not at all. I'm for men and I'm for women. I think that we are worse off in this situation with this artificial feminist garbage going on, which is, again, supported by infantilization. The idea of trying to make people into these dependent, soft little babies. It's a joke. Man, look at the society around you. It's a joke. You've got men running around carrying the baby all the time, pushing prams, and the woman's walking along going, what am I doing? It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. So it will be cured. It's just kind of funny to watch it happening. And more people, you know, I stop people in the street. I'm like, have you noticed this? And they're like, yeah. It's common knowledge that this is nonsense and has to be fixed. Anyway, enjoy.